Hi there. Thanks for joining me today. This is Inkin Latte with Keri Blake, and we are in episode 6 of Listen at Lunch, although right now it's more like demonstration at dinner. Friday's focus is simple stamping, and no doubt you already have the supplies that I'm going to show you at home that you can just pull out and join along, or I'm happy to provide you with a description of the items that I use in the video so that you can order from me and make your own projects. As I said, today is simple stamping, and let's just get right into it. I am going to show you how to make a super simple card with, like I said, the supplies that you might have in your possession right now. So let's get started. Of course, I'm going to use Stampin' Up's paper trimmer because it's wonderful. It has both the cutting blade and a scoring blade, so that it's a 2-in-1. I'm going to cut a sheet of Very Vanilla, which is 8.5 by 11. We're going to make 2 cards out of this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cardstock in, and I'm going to score at 5.5, which is the center, obviously, of the 11-inch side. I'm going to use this scoring tool, and I'm going to press down, back and forth, and that just put a score mark in the center of my cardstock. And then I'm going to flip it over on the long side, and I'm going to put it at 4 1/4. Okay, and then I'm going to take the, and I hope you can see this okay, I'm going to take the cutting blade, and I'm not going to push down, I'm just going to pull. Because when you push down, you put too much pressure on that blade that goes into the cutting mat, and it dulls your blade pretty fast. So just remember to just drag it and not push it too hard when you're pulling it, and you'll get more time out of your blade. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside right here because I'm going to come back to it. But this is a card. It's a top fold card. It's already got your score mark there in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and take my bone folder and just score it in half. And we are going to make 2 cards. I'm going to show you one's going to be super simple, and the next one's going to be stepped up just a little bit. Okay, so we're all done with our bone folder. These are our 2 cards. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find a piece of scrap designer series paper. This particular package is Ornate Garden. It is going to be, it's a, what do I want to say? It's an exclusive pre-order item for you right now, but it is coming out in our annual catalog on June 3rd. You'll be able to buy this as well, but this is an exclusive pre-order item for you to get you excited. And I am very excited. On the back of this designer, it comes with 12 sheets of designer series paper. They are double-sided. You get 2 each of 6 different designs. And they have patterns on both sides. It comes in 12 by 12. And then it tells you on the back what coordinating color Stampin' Up sells that are going to match with this. And we have Bumblebee, which obviously is... if you know anything about Stampin' Up, Bumblebee is going to be a new in color because we've never heard of this before. So we know this is a new in color coming out in June as well. Early Espresso, Mint Macaron, Old Olive, Terracotta Tile, and Whisper White. Well, it just so happens I'm using Very Vanilla because I'm going to choose this strip of scrap paper because if you know me, I don't throw out my scraps. I save almost everything because it's going to come in handy, I know, just someday. So I thought there was a little vanilla in these flowers, and so I'm going with the vanilla cardstock for our card base. Okay, and this is just a scrap sheet of paper, but what we're going to do is we're going to cut this into 3 strips of 3 by 3 1/4. So let's see what we've got here. And again, this is the scoring tool, this is the cutting tool. So I'm putting it right there, and this is exactly 3 inches wide, so this is perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this paper and I'm going to cut it at 3 1/4, because that's how long I want our strips. 3 1/4, and then I want them 1 inch wide. So we're going to use this, so don't discard this scrap paper. You're going to see why. Okay, next I'm going to put it back to the 3, and I need 3 strips here, so I'm going down to the 2. I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going down to the 1 inch mark, and I'm going to cut it. So now I have 3 strips of 1 inch by 3 1/4 inches long. Okay, and you see how they kind of go together, right? So you know me, I'm kind of matchy-matchy. So we're going to use these in the same order that I cut them. So they look like they're one piece separated, which is exactly what they are. Okay, so I can set this aside because this first card is super, super simple. You can use any kind of paper. You don't have to be matchy-matchy. You can mix them up. You can also, as you know, it's double-sided. So if you wanted to, you could flip it over. You could use 3 different pieces of Designer Series paper. It doesn't matter. It's going to look pretty. But I'm going to keep it all the same. And then I'm just going to take my Snail Adhesive, which you could also, you know what? I'm not going to use my Snail. I'm going to use my Multipurpose liquid glue. And the reason that I like that is because once I put this down on my cardstock, I can move it if I want. So I'm just going to put a little bit, and I'm going to do one at a time. So set that down. Okay, I want room to place a greeting down here. So I'm going to put these up top, like so. See, I get to move it around a little bit because that glue is wet. If you let the glue dry, it will turn tacky like a glue dot. Okay, so there's one. And the reason I'm going to do this outer edge first is because when you put the centerpiece in, you can just center it where it'll look better. I don't know if this is going to make sense, but the way I have it spaced here is I'm going to do the exact same over here. I'm going to try to space it. And if you're really worried about like having it straight, take your ruler and go up this way. And then place your, so you can move it around because the glue is still wet. Okay, so there we've got 2 pieces down. Next, we're going to do this middle piece. And I'm just putting a little bit of glue on. Not a lot. It works great for Designer Series paper. I'm going to put this back just so, you know, it's nice and straight. And then I'm going to put this middle piece right in the middle. Now, I could have put these closer together. It probably would have looked a little bit nicer if I would have put them closer together, but it doesn't matter because this is a simple card. And whoever gets this is going to say, oh, I like it. You made this? Oh, how sweet. That warms my heart. And that's exactly what I'm going for. Okay, so there we have it. We have 3 pretty strips of paper. It just decorated your Very Vanilla very nicely. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our Early Espresso, because that's one of the colors here. It's a real deep brown. We're going to take this Early Espresso, and I'm going to go over here and use this stamp set called Peaceful Moments. I'm using this for my Inkin or Latte cards and coffee class this month too. This has great sayings. Life is better with a friend like you. You shouldn't have, but I'm glad you did. Congratulations, happy birthday, thank you. These are moments we'll look back with joy, thinking of you with all my heart. It just so happens I need a sympathy card, so I'm going for the sympathy one today with deepest sympathy, which really sucks because those are everybody's least favorite cards to have to make. Okay, so this is our cling stamp. I need to put it on a clear block, and how I do that is, you know, sometimes I mount the stickers crooked So I don't look at the stickers, I kind of look at the rubber itself, and I'm lining up this word with this edge of the block so that it's straight. Okay, and it looks pretty straight. I kind of go sideways and make sure they're in line with each other, and then I'm gonna just press it down. And you can see I don't have I don't have my scrap sheets, but usually I have scrap sheets available because I like to stamp it first and make sure that it's going to work well. But I'm going to wing it today, guys. So here we go. So I've got my stamp on my clear block. It's pretty well straight, I think. Okay, so now I'm going to ink it up, and I'm tapping this on the ink pad because these brand new ink pads from Stampin' Up are super juicy, and if you push it down too hard, you're going to get those tags, or what Michelle calls, my 1L calls, halos all around. And if you are uncomfortable with stamping and you don't go straight down and lift straight off, you do a rock and roll technique, you're going to get those halos all over. So what my first point is, tap lightly and then just turn it over, and you can see this is inked up really good. So I'm going to push that away, and I'm going to center it where I want to stamp. I hope you don't see my head in here. And I'm going to go straight down, hold it, my name is Keri, my name is Keri, my name is Keri, and lift straight up. And that's pretty good. So there we go. We have one card. Super simple, right? It's just your base card base in very vanilla, 3 strips of 1 inch by 3 1/4 inch, and a stamp. Really sweet, isn't it? And then you're going to write your sentiment. You're going to mail it off. We also, of course, we have coordinating envelopes. We have the very vanilla envelopes, and they come 40 in a pack. And we also have the Whisper White envelopes that come 40 in a pack. And these are super nice quality envelopes. You can't forget to not decorate your envelope, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my snail, and I'm going to close this up so we don't have any accidents for the moment. Set it out of the way. Now I'm going to take my snail, and I'm going to run it all along my envelope. You could use the multi-purpose liquid glue as well. And then I'm going to take the Designer Series paper and go right over the flap of the envelope where I put my adhesive. And voila. And I just hope I have enough. Okay. Oh, here we go. Oops, sorry. I'm taking my paper snips, one of the tools that you should have in your toolbox. And I wish I could speed this up, but I can't, so bear with me. What kind of music do you listen to when you craft? I have been listening to a new artist. Well, he's not new, but he's very new to me, and I wish I would have known him, 25 years ago. But I've been listening to John Prine, who just passed away recently. And he is such a good singer. I love his music. Reminds me of my Virginia Intermont days in college. Look at that beautiful envelope flap. Woo! Okay, so there we have an envelope flap, pretty envelope decorated, and then we have this super simple, elegant though. Isn't that pretty? This super simple card. So Friday's focus is simple stamping. Now some of you are seasoned, you have more experience, so let's up the game a little bit, okay? Let's make another card. But I have a feeling that this scrap piece of paper is not going to be long enough. No, it's not. It's going to be 3 by 3. So, what do we want to do here, friends? I think we'll go with another piece of paper. Okay, and Lord knows I have lots more scraps in here too. So, let's see. This one has some more vanilla. We're going to use this sheet because we have this other card base in Very Vanilla. So I'm going to use this section or this section. Let's see, they're pretty much the same. So I'm going to use this section and I'm going to cut it at 3 1/4 because I know this is 3 inches wide, but let's just be sure. Line it up. It is 3 inches wide, but we want it 3 1/4 inches long. So there we go, 3 1/4, and don't push down, just pull. And now we've got our strip that we're going to cut into 3 pieces. So here we go, move it over to the 2. We can just do that, but move it over to the 1. Okay, and now we have our 3 pieces again, right? But we're stepping up our game. And I'm going to set those 3 pieces aside. And I'm going to take a piece of Very Vanilla regular cardstock. I forgot to tell you, this is a thick cardstock, so it's super sturdy and it's perfect for card bases. This is Very Vanilla, just regular cardstock, and it's a little bit thinner than our normal cardstock, but it's great for greetings and pieces. So we're going to use a piece of this. Better set that aside too. And we're going to cut it to 3 1/2 by 3 1/2, and you'll see why in just a moment. So here's 3 1/2. You'll notice I just pulled. I did not push. By 3 1/2. Okay, so now I have a piece of 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. You're going to set aside your scraps because you're going to use those scraps. And you'll see in just a moment. So now we have 3 pieces at 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. And then we have our base piece of Very Vanilla at 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. Wait, 3 1/4 by 1. I'm sorry. So these strips are 1 inch wide by 3 1/4 long. And this base is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And then it's going to space these evenly. So I'm just going to go at it. And again, isn't it pretty? That side's pretty too. That's my favorite color, Old Olive. So I'm going to use this multi-purpose liquid glue so that I can move it around. And I'm going to center this evenly on here. Okay, see that? Next I'm going to take the other end piece. And I'm going to put that one here. And lastly, the middle piece. Right in the center. See how the pattern just kind of spaces out? All right, there we go. So here we have our card piece. Let's see, which way should it go? I think it should go this way. Or you could even do it this way if you wanted to. Or this way. That's kind of pretty. Okay, so then we're going to put this on our card base. So, choices. I think I'm going to go the long way again. But before I do that, we have ribbon to put on too. We're going to spruce it up a little bit for those of you that like to do that. We have two ribbons that I really think will go great. This one is the Very Vanilla Gold Metallic Edge ribbon. And then we also have Crushed Curry, which is really close to this new color Bumblebee that's coming out. So, Dawn Stock, I know if you're watching, you do not like Crushed Curry, but that's actually, I do. Yeah, I do. I like mustard better than ketchup too. So, but you know, you and I are from two different states. I had to bring that up. Okay, so which one would you use? I'm going to use the Crushed Curry. Believe it or not, I haven't opened this. So there's a little protective film over it. I'll just throw that away. And now when I cut ribbon, I'm kind of frugal. And the reason I'm going to cut it this way too is, like I've told you before, we're going to tie the knot or the half bow on top so that you can slide it wherever you want. So I'm going to cut a piece like so, and I'm going to place my flowers like this. So this ribbon is going to go right here towards the bottom. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to take my snail, and snail works great with ribbon. Okay, good job. And then I'm putting tape all around because we're going to put this. All right, come on. There we go. Because we are going to put this right down after I put the ribbon across. So the ribbon is straight. We've got a little overhang. We're going to put that in there and tuck it on the adhesive on both sides so that it's nice and even. And then we're going to set this on our card. Okay. Voila. Now, while the ribbon's still on the spool, I'm going to take it and slide it under. And then I'm going to tie a little half knot. Okay, take my paper snips and cut it. We'll pretty up this end to match on a slant there. And now we've got our ribbon all set. Okay, and like I said, I tied the knot on top of that piece of ribbon so you can slide this wherever you want on your card. Okay, well, it's not done yet because we need a greeting. So I'm going to go back to my With Deepest Sympathy. And I'm going to, and sticking up, so that bothers me. So guess what? I'm going to take a little multi-purpose liquid glue. And solve that problem right off the bat. Alright, and this is our scrap of the Very Vanilla that we use to cut out the backing on this designer series paper. And I'm going to stamp our Sympathy with Deepest Sympathy sentiment again on this scrap sheet. And then I'm going to decide which punch I want to use, because I'm going to punch this out instead of stamping directly on my card. I'm going to give it a little more beauty, and I really like this punch. So you flip over the punch and you stick your cardstock in, and you can see exactly where you're punching. Another beauty of Stampin' Up's punches. And I'm centering the sympathy. Okay, just punch it out. Close it and lock it. Set it aside. We're almost done, folks. Friends. Okay, now I'm going to take some mini Stampin' Dimensionals, and these are just little foam dots that pop your piece up. And I'll remove the little skins off the top, little cover, because they're double-sided adhesive backed double-sided. And I have my little trash can here. And then I'm going to center this somewhere on here so it's nice and pretty. I'm going to do it ever so lightly, because if you have to, you can lift it up right away and move it around if you're not happy with the placement. And there you go. Now we have a really pretty card. If you want to take it a step further, you can add, you know what, still did it a little. There. All right. If you want to take it even a step further, where are my little gems? I have really pretty gems that you could add to your card. I have some pretty gold pearls. I have some gilded gems, which I think those might look good. These are the new gilded gems that actually coordinate with the Ornate Garden, but they could go for any pretty projects that you have. So let's do this. And believe it or not, we're going to be kind of random about this. I didn't have my take your pick tool out, so I'm just using my fingernails. And I'm going to put one here. And I kind of like the softness of the little ones. So I'm going to put one, I don't know, up there. How about another one right here? Okay, there we go. So once again, I could take that scrap piece of designer series paper, and I will actually decorate the flap of the envelope so that it matches. So there you know, now you have a step up. Now you don't have to do the gems. You can just keep it simple, or you can even just go back to keeping it super simple with the supplies that you have and just create a beautiful card. But Friday's focus was simple stamping. So there you have 2 cards that we made really fast. And here's 2 others that I made. Super simple, right? And I thought it was kind of cool. You know, the birds are flying, so I'm sending healing hugs. But then I turned the paper over and I used the opposite side of those birds. And I just tied a knot in 2 pieces of ribbon and tucked them behind this matted piece. Punched out my greeting and added a couple pearls. Pretty, huh? Well, thanks for joining me. I hope you'll make a card and send it to someone, because you know, not only will you bless their lives by letting them know you care about them, but you'll be blessed as well. As always, let me know if there's anything I can help you with. If I can help you place your order, I'm happy to do that. And in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. Thanks so much. This is always so fun. There it is.